As many philosophies exist, they come to show us a way of thinking, a way of doing things. We have seen that throughout history, men could sit and think of their reality. And by thinking it objectively, they could retrieve something which the society should need from that time. That's why many philosophies came, because people could bring a new understanding depending on the context they were in. Many philosophies now exist, and many are very old, and we still use them even in our daily lives today. But the problem comes when these philosophies define ourselves, define who I am. Independentalism goes beyond that, because it doesn't give a human being a way of doing things, or a way of living. Rather, it only represents the way things are naturally set, that a man himself should understand that he is an independent being. And he uses those philosophies accordingly to time, need, and space. Imagine if we can be limited by philosophies that dated more than 100 years ago, and I want to use them in this era, it can lose sense, it can lose a meaning, because I'm applying things which don't ally with the reality. Imagine I want to apply the philosophy of Socrates in our society in Burundi. I can still lose some coherence, because the society Socrates were living in may differ from mine, because the contexts are not the same, the year are not the same. That's why we come to understand that a man still is independent of those tools, is independent of those philosophies. That's why, of course, I can't say independentalism is a philosophy, because it goes beyond. It's a concept which is natural to every human being. Every human being can understand that he abides a certain philosophy accordingly to a time, accordingly to a need. Independentalism, as we have, of course, we have seen that it centralizes a man on a center. It stipulates that a man is enough for himself, is whole, which simply means it doesn't say that a man is a self-egoist. No. It only says that a man understands he has values in existence. Therefore, everything he does, every interaction that he puts himself in, must be explained by a value which he is bringing in a society. We understand that independentalism explains a man's life on earth. It explains a man's ability. It explains that a man is the sole center of everything, including the way of living, including the way of viewing the world. Unlike many philosophies, independentalism can also say that it doesn't give you lens. What is lens? It is like a window we use to see the reality. Philosophies, as we have seen, it gives people the way to view life. But these philosophies are not enough, because they only rely on a certain type of life. On the other hand, independentalism now comes to say that a man should always think of his reality, should always be conscious of what he needs, of what works well in his society. You may be among the people who can be wondering that if this doctrine or this concept of a man in existence calls people to come and abide in it, abide in the ideologies, as we have seen many philosophies call people to follow their doctrine, to follow their ideologies. But independentalism is not calling people to be their followers or to be converted. We don't have churches. It doesn't have temples. It only reminds people, it only awakens people to see that ability in a man, to see that power that a man has in existence, because it says that a man should always think of his reality. A man is not limited by any external factors such as politics, such as media, such as any other of institutions or any other concept. Rather, he defines them. The reality is requiring. So you understand that this is not an ideology for people to be converted. It doesn't change anyone. It doesn't change any beliefs of anyone. Rather, it only orients those beliefs. It gives a whole image of how things work. Imagine as a nutritionist man, for example, the one who explores nutrition. He understands that nutrition is a tool, is a concept which will help him to know what kind of food to eat, how well to live in his life. So you understand that the man is not defined by the nutrition. Rather, he uses nutrition to define a good health, to define a good life. Human beings use everything according to something which is needed. People, when they understand this, we can even see that those people who invented many things, those people who brought many tools, many inventions that we still, of course, benefit from them, understood that they are the sole cause of every invention in the world. They are the people who, of course, have to think of their reality and retrieve the necessities, and therefore they were able to bring something in existence, to bring a solution. That's how ideologies came. That's how even someone can invent a philosophy. So independentalism, as you are understanding, it represents all of that thing. It represents that ability of a man in existence to create, to give as an invention, to progress. That's how the world, of course, should be based on. I don't think that it disagrees with any of concept, rather it directs it. It gives the light so that people can use them, so that people can be in those institutions or in those concepts, but awakened that they define them. They must understand that those concepts are saving their life, saving the life itself in existence. Thank you for having watched us, and I invite everyone also to follow some of the videos which of course pass on the Independentalists. See you on the next show.